Our touring car day so far, a Chevy benefit. Team Silverline taking the top 3 places in race 1. Matt Jackson from Plato, fine drive from James Nash. Race 2, it was Plato celebrating, but crucially Giovanardi took second ahead of Matt Jackson. And Giovanardi closes the gap still further on the championship leader, Colin Turkington. So that takes us on to round 24 of the championship, and we've got Formula One star Johnny Herbert on the front row. Let's go back down to Louise on the grid.
45 is definitely the magic number as far as Johnny Herbert's concerned. It's the number on the side of his car. It also happens to be his age. And coincidentally, Johnny is the 45th Formula One driver to take part in the British Touring Car Championship. Let's see how you've enjoyed himself so far. Have you been having fun?
Yeah, it's very different to what I'm used to, but we've moved the right direction. We were more competitive in the second race. Now I've got to get off the line cleanly, and you never know, I might have a good race in this one.
You predicted that you were going to have a steep learning curve. Just how much have you learned?
Well, an enormous amount, because you know there is so much going on in this car, because it's completely different from where obviously it's front wheel drive, but we've moved it in nice direction. We haven't sort of gone static and just stayed where we were. We've moved forward. Now we've got a good chance. We have to see what this weather does, but we're on the same tyres as each other, so be interesting.
Starting from the front row, you're going to be right in the thick of all the action. Do you think you'll be able to handle yourself okay?
I think I can handle myself okay. See if I can handle getting off the line. I've done 2 starts in my time in touring car compared to these other guys who've had a bit more, 10 years or more. So I've got to get it right. If I get it right, it'll be a good show.
Get it right, we could be on for a podium interview at the end. Good luck. Now, I want to grab a quick word with Johnny Adam. Last time we saw him, the contents of his fire extinguisher were emptying themselves all over him in the car. But how would you sum up your weekend, this weekend so far, Johnny?
It's been quite consistent, really. We've had an 8th and a 7th in the first 2 races. I'll say for both the Airways BMW, both myself and Rob, we've got a good grid slot here. And the actual 2 starts we've had haven't been too bad, so if we can get a good start, hopefully it could be a BMW Airways 1-2 into the first corner.
You reckon there's a good chance of that?
Yeah, I think so. I think both of us have been gradually getting quicker as the weekend goes on. And yeah, I think hopefully we could, both of us can hopefully get on the podium.
Now the conditions weren't really very good for the rear-wheel drive cars in the last race. It's dried out a bit now. Is this going to favour you more?
Yeah, it's back to sort of dry conditions now, and you know, hopefully we can both get good starts and hopefully get away in front.
But listen, we'll be hoping that you can get a good result. Talking of good results, you've got to give a shout out to Tom Chilton. He's been having his best weekend by a long shot in the Team Aon Ford, and what's more, he's been absolutely loving it, haven't you? You thoroughly enjoyed yourself in that last race.
I did indeed. Team Aon done a great job, and this new 2009 chassis Ford Focus is up there. Look, I'm surrounded by legends around me, and we're so happy to be here, and fingers crossed for this race.
You had a huge smile on your face after the last race. Just tell me about the ding-dong battles that you were having.
I don't think anyone could take the smile off my face or my team, but yeah, we had the best race we've had in terms of tangling with other drivers, because I've now got a car to race with, and I don't want to talk too long because we're literally just about to start, but I tell you what, the racing, that's why I do motor racing, because the British touring cars is so close. I love it.
Listen, best of luck with the race. We keep our fingers crossed with you. Keep your eyes out for the 2 guys lining up just behind him on the grid, Colin Turkington, and right behind him, Fabrizio Giovanardi. The 2 guys battling it out at the moment in this championship. Let's go over to our commentators.
Thanks, Louise. Well, looking forward to this final race of the day, Tim. Much more action to come. But there's a bit of an update as far as you're concerned with your race. We saw earlier on you ended up in the gravel trap at the end of the Porsche race. But tell me what's happened since then.
Yeah, I was a sullen figure trudging back to the pits. But after that incident, which cost me a result in the race, and, well, I think you can see fairly clearly that Tim Bridgman pushed me out, and subsequently the clerk of the course has excluded him from the results and fined and penalised him with 8 championship points. So in fact I end up 8 championship points in front, having finished a race in the gravel, which I've never done before. And had Tim stayed there, he'd have been 1 point behind me.
Right, so it's unfortunate, but and no appeals or anything. That's it. That's
no,
the
that's
final
it.
Decision.
Done and dusted.
Okay, well, thanks for updating us on that. So you lead the championship going to the next round at Rockingham. But let's turn our focus now onto what's going on with the touring cars. Johnny Herbert on the front row of the grid this time.
Well, no surprise to me and anyone that knows Alan Gow, series coordinator, that he was always going to stand a fairly good chance being on the front row. This series being as it is about entertainment, but fantastic to see him there, and obviously we'll, hope he can have a good race. He's going to have his work cut out with some very quick BMWs next to him. If Collard doesn't lead into the first corner, I'll eat my hat. He's the best starter on the grid. Turkington will be looking to try and jump Chilton and Jordan and follow the BMWs away. At the moment it is dry and there's no showers, so it should be a good clean race, at least weather-wise.
Well, let's hope so. It's been a bit grey this afternoon, but as you say, it's not actually raining at the moment. There's quite a breeze blowing over the circuit, so hopefully that'll keep the place dry.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is Plato's reckons he can win this race, and he's probably got a fairly good chance, but we'll see. At carrying 45 kilos of ballast, it's not easy, but he's so impressed with his car, he thinks he's got a chance.
Well, we'll see what he can do. He came up to finish second, didn't he, at Knockhill last time out, from way down in 17th on the grid. Here we go then, cars moving away on their formation lap. Johnny trying to get it off the line and hoping that he will move it off the line effectively when it comes to it for real. So let's take a look at the grid then for this third race of the day, and it is on pole position Rob Collard in the Airways BMW, but it's Johnny Herbert alongside for Team Dynamics. Then on the second row of the grid we've got Johnny Adam, a second of the Airwaves car, and Andrew Jordan. Next up behind them is Tom Chilton in the Team A on Focus. There's Colin Turkington, still narrowly leading the championship. And behind him we've got Matt Jackson, very fast today, and of course Fabrizio Giovanardi. Jason Plato lines up 9th on the reverse grid. Paul O'Neill is next to him in 10th position. And then it's Harry Volkard on the outside and Stephen Jelly on the inside of row 6. Next up, it's Tom Onslow-Cole and Anthony Reid. The two of them clashed earlier on, and Anthony did get points on his licence as a result of that. Martin Bell and David Pinkney, James Nash are next up on the grid. James ended up in the gravel in that last race, but no action was taken from that. And then down towards the back, David Pinkney and John George. And right down at the back of the grid, we've got Matt Neal and Martin Johnson.
And I'm glad to say that Onslow-Cole has his 4 wheels on his wagon,
yes,
so to speak, just showing how light the back end of that car is. Didn't even touch the ground.
That's right, we had some pictures of him losing a wheel on the formation lap. Let's see if we get a quick word with Jason Plato, starting from 9th position. Ben and Tim calling Jason. Jason, can you really win this thing from 9th?
Hi guys. It's going to be a tough race, I think. I've already got maximum ballast on, but I'll tell you what, we're giving it a go. But I think for me, I'm just going to bide my time. I think not get too anxious and just sit, and hopefully the Racing Silverline Lachetti will see us to the end.
Okay, we'll keep our eyes open for a patient Plato. Thanks, Jason.
Jason Plato being patient.
Yes.
Never see too much of that.
No,
not one of his trademarks, is it? But
occasionally
he knows how to handle these reverse grid races.
Okay, yeah, we'll see what he can do from there. 9th on the grid, and it is important in the early laps. It all could break loose on the first lap here with some of the slightly slower cars up front, but actually there's a good mix of drivers up here despite the reverse grid. You know, Collard, Johnny Adam up there, Andrew Jordan. Now Johnny Herbert's ahead of Andrew Jordan this time, whereas he's been dicing with him throughout most of the day so far. I wonder if it'll end that way as well. So everybody lining up into position. Collard, as we know, very rapid off that front row. He started in 2nd place on the grid on the first race of today and got away and led the early stages, but of course Matt Jackson was able to get past him.
Yeah, I've asked them, they think their race pace could be a little bit better in these conditions. The slightly damp conditions in the second race caught them out, but they do think if Rob gets ahead, he's got a good chance.
Here we go then, the third and final race of the day here at Silverstone. Collard is going to go for it from the outside there in the Airways BMW. Drops the clutch, away he goes, mega start from Collard. Adam goes straight into 2nd. Johnny Herbert not quick off the line. Turkington getting a good start, and Turkington up into 3rd place as everybody else now ganging up on Johnny Herbert, who's dropped down to 4th, maybe 5th.
Yeah, Johnny was creepy a little bit and then dumped the clutch and got too much wheel spin, and I spoke to Dick Bennett about this start, and Turkington got it absolutely perfectly around the outside of Chilton and Jordan.
Matt Jackson's got in front of Johnny Herbert, who's now got 2 Vauxhalls around him there. Jason Plato slightly further back in the mix there. Giovanardi runs out very wide. He's with Johnny Herbert. I think they made a bit of contact, perhaps.
Just a touch of contact, but we'll have to see who's on the inside as they come down to Brooklands. But Collard's certainly got the jump.
And Plato's having a go at Giovanardi. Turkington having a little look at Johnny Adam on the inside. Both of them back out of those prospective manoeuvres. And Giovanardi is still... Oh, and Jordan spins in front of the pack. Oh, and he's taken out Chilton with him.
Oh, that was very unlucky. I mean... Johnny Herbert did a brilliant job to fend off those two Vauxhalls down into Brooklands on the first lap, but Jordan just lost it on that cold rear and took out an impressive Chilton this weekend.
The right rear tyre, which does so little work here, was too cold and Jordan lost it. 1, 2, 3 for BMWs at the moment after Chevy dominating earlier on today. Two different teams, of course. There is Matt Neal with damage on the car. Anthony Reid tucked in behind him as well. This is the battle for third place. Johnny Adam with Colin Turkington behind and Matt Jackson catching them both in that Chevrolet, which has been so quick here today.
Don't forget, Turkington's only got 18 kilos on this car, so he really can fly. Johnny Adam has none, but that makes very little difference around here.
So Collard it is with a good lead, but Turkington's the one on the attack for the Team RAC group, and he's going to have a little look down the inside, late into Brooklands. Adam's going to lean on him. They're still side by side. Matt Jackson's going to try and take advantage. Adam gets eased out there, and Turkington is up into second.
Wow, that was brave by Turkington. You don't often see him being that aggressive, but he absolutely knew he had to do it then. He had Jackson up behind him. That was his only chance and his moment to do it, and it paid off.
It did. That was more Giovanardi style than Turkington style, but as you say, he knew he had to do it then, and he made it work for him. And Jackson now has got past Johnny Adam as well. Johnny Herbert's still tucked in behind. He's in 5th place, and right behind him, he's got Fabrizio Giovanardi.
Well, let's see how Giovanardi copes with F1 superstar Johnny Herbert. I'm sure he won't give him any space, and it'll be into that Luffield corner that Giovanardi is so aggressive, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him give Herbert a little tap.
Now Giovanardi, I think, is already side by side with Herbert. You're on board with Herbert. I think Fabrizio's probably over on the right. We'll wait to see what happens as we come down to the left-hander. There he is. They are side by side. Giovanardi's going to have the inside line for the next corner. So he goes round the outside here. Now, can he get the inside? Yeah. And Johnny might lose. Oh, he's hit by Plato. Plato's hit Johnny Herbert. Off he goes.
Yeah, I mean, that was brave of Giovanardi, but he probably guessed that Herbert would give him room, and Plato was just trying to follow him through when Herbert tried to cut back in for Luffield. That's touring car racing.
Yep, he's getting a baptism of fire here is Johnny Herbert, and that's dropped him down the order somewhat. So, back up front, it's still Rob Collard that leads this race. Turkington is in 2nd position. You're watching Stephen Jelly. He's tucked in that mid-group, that middle of the top 10. Matt Jackson there getting past Turkington.
Yeah, and it almost as though Turkington let him pass then. Very strange. As Turkington suddenly lost some pace, has he got a problem? Is it drizzling up there? What's the problem? He really looked like he just let him through.
Well, problems for Martin Bell. I wonder if Turkington's got a problem here. He did have contact, of course, last lap around, didn't he?
Yeah, he may have a slow puncture because he's now having to defend. I think you're right. I think he may have a puncture. He's definitely got a problem.
So Turkington after it looked good for him. Suddenly now not looking so bright and rosy for him. Meanwhile, look at these guys all hammering down through Brooklands corner. Anthony Reid in that group as well. There is Turkington. Well, he's still in ahead of Johnny Adam, but he definitely seemed to lose a bit of pace on that last lap.
Yeah, was there a puff of smoke from that left front? Is it rubbing on the body or something, or is the tyre going down?
It's difficult to tell, isn't it? But at the moment, he's ahead of Johnny Adam as they go through Copse Corner. They're sitting 3rd and 4th at the moment. The race being led by Rob Collard. It's Matt Jackson in 2nd place. Turkington now in 3rd, with Johnny Adam in 4th position. Airwaves on for a good result here, and particularly if they could get Johnny Adam onto the podium as well. And then you've got Fabrizio Giovanardi, top Vauxhall once again in this race. He's sitting 5th. Plato is 6th. And then behind them you've got Stephen Jelly. Here's Plato just defending from Jelly. Stephen Jelly having a little look at maybe attacking into the left-hander at Brooklands, as Turkington still fends off Adam. No change behind them.
Turkington seems to have gathered himself together, but he was a second and a half slower than Jackson on that last lap, so maybe he just made a mistake at Copse and we didn't see it, and that allowed Jackson to get the run at him, but he seems to have regrouped anyway, and across the line this time. Jackson again with the fastest lap, but Turkington only a couple of tenths slower, so he has got himself back together.
Yep, so whatever went wrong, it did look as though it was a tiny mishap, but he seems to be okay at the moment. As you say, Jackson is flying. He's gradually closing up on Collard, who leads, and that's a repeat, of course, of race 1 here earlier on today. So that's pretty impressive when you take the reverse grid into account. Matt Jackson's doing a mighty job here, isn't he?
Yes, he is, and he's got 27 kilos on board. But remember when he started with 45 kilos in the last race, he was very quick at the start. So we'll see if he can continue this pace.
In the background, you can see that we've still got Turkington ahead of Adam, and behind that, the second of the Team RAC cars, Stephen Jelly, moving around in Jason Plato's mirrors, really looking quite as though he wants to try and find a way past. Still no difference here between Turkington and Adam. They had a bit of a dice in the first race of the day, these two, of course, and they're at it again. Two BMWs run by different teams, and very, very evenly matched here.
Yeah, 3 BMWs in the top 4 at the moment, with Jackson in second in the Chevrolet and Giovanardi in 5th.
Yep, Giovanardi's still in the hunt there, of course, and still watching, keeping an eye on what Turkington's up to, I'm sure, as that battle for the championship continues as we get towards the latter stages of the season. You can see Plato in the background. Plato was a little bit wide on Cop's corner, but it didn't seem to affect him at all. And he is still hoping to join in this battle for the championship, of course. This is on board Plato, looking straight back at Stephen Jelly.
Yeah, now look at that. Jelly got a very good exit then. He's looking down the inside. He's actually off the circuit on the left-hand side, and he's got it done.
Oh, there's a bit of a lock-up ahead of them. I don't know who that was, but he's got it. You are right. Stephen Jelly is through there. Plato seems to be struggling a bit. He's got James Nash right behind him as well. Nash has come up well from towards the back of the grid. This is a very impressive drive from James Nash.
Yeah, on board with Plato. The BMW getting his power down well, coming out using all of the curb and the grass screech on the exit, but still managing to put his power down, and Jelly done very well there.
Yeah, so Stephen Jelly be well pleased to have played the scalp of Jason Plato, and stays ahead of the Silverline Chevy, which now has James Nash right behind as well in the number 23 car, and they continue through. Harry Volkart, by the way, is running 9th in another Chevy behind this group, and rounding out the top 10 at the moment is Paul O'Neill. We've got David Pinkney 11th, Matt Neal is 12th, Tom Onslow-Cole 13th, Anthony Reid 14th, and then Jordan George, Johnson and Johnny Herbert.
This is with the incident with Johnny Herbert. He's on the inside. Giovanardi's on his right-hand side with Plato right behind. That's the tap from Plato as Plato tried to follow Giovanardi through. And of course, this is a forward shot of it. Herbert actually gives plenty of room there. I mean, anyone on the touring car drive probably would have lent on. Well, that's almost similar to 1992 with Mr. Cleland and Soper, that actually, wasn't it?
I have to say that that might come under question, I would think, after this race.
I mean, Plato wasn't that close to the inside, was he? But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what, if any, action is taken on that one. But Johnny continues, but he's well down the order now, of course. He's down in 18th position. And then we've got Paul O'Neill. Paul O'Neill just got past. No, he's still in 9th, that's right, ahead of Volkart. He has just got past, actually, so he just gained one there. And Pinkney's still just outside the top 10 as we ride with Turkington. That's Johnny Adam breathing down our neck. Good stuff. What a great view. Just how close they can run here at Silverstone.
That is really close, isn't it? Both these cars very evenly matched. Actually, the RAC car just going away a little bit, actually, and that's despite having more weight on the car. So they've got some good engines in the RAC cars.
Yeah, and right behind them still, it's Fabrizio Giovanardi, still in the hunt here. Oh, that's where there could be a bit of contact just through Luffield corner. That's where Turkington actually had a little bit of an aggressive move to gain the place, and actually, this is a good exit.
Not quite, not quite. Just trying to do a bit of a Giovanardi and ease him wide there, and it's Giovanardi that's catching these two up.
Yeah, and that's why Johnny Adam wants to try and make a move on Turkington as quickly as possible. Look how they are tied together. Fantastic stuff from Turkington, the championship leader, but look who's bearing down. It is Fabrizio Giovanardi now. Right behind the white BMW is the red Vauxhall of Fabrizio Giovanardi. Little lock up there.
Yeah, big lock up. Is this going to give an advantage to Johnny Adam on the exit? Looks like actually it hasn't. It looks like Turkington's got the power down nicely and still got a gap.
But the extra weight might bear more as we go through this race, of course. Turkington's still carrying some 18 kilos on his BMW, on board with Giovanardi. Now he's coming up to his favourite place for overtaking, which is down the inside here. Oh, and then the other BMWs have made contact, and he's seen the chance, and he's through. He's passed Johnny Adam at least.
Yeah, I think actually Johnny Adam ran into the back of Turkington, and that, yes, he did. If you look at the front, Johnny Adam's guy's got some damage. He ran into the back of Turkington, and that gave Giovanardi the opportunity to jump him on the inside.
Wow, this is fraught stuff, and now the two championship contenders are once again about to go wheel to wheel, and it seems like it's happening more this year than we've had in past years. And it's Turkington ahead of Giovanardi.
It is amazing, isn't it, in the hustle and bustle of a championship as closely contested as this, how often the two championship rivals come together. We think of it in the past, it's happened many times, and it's happening again this year.
Can Turkington keep his cool, as he has done so many times? Remember, Giovanardi did pass him earlier, a bit of bodywork falling off there, off Turkington's car. Giovanardi did get past Turkington in the damp earlier, when the track conditions really didn't suit the BMW.
Yeah, but that's in board in the airwaves pit. But here we go, up into Luffield.
Oh, this is where he likes to go through. Can he get the overlap? Not quite. Not quite. Turkington just fends him off.
Yeah, Turkington's concentrating on getting a good exit, which he does there, but in doing so, he runs a little bit wide, just mid-corner at Luffield. Oh, look at this for Jackson, right up behind Collard and looking for a way through, lights on.
This is for the lead of the race. So, Collard, who had the lead, now finds Jackson behind him. Now remember, this happened earlier as well, because Matt Jackson took the lead in race 1 here, but that was when they both started on the front row. This time, Jackson, has got another chance on the inside. Collard won't make it easy for him though, and they're still absolutely together. Now remember, it was the next corner, I think, that Jackson got past in that first race.
It was. I'm not sure he's close enough now, but he'll try. He was he set the fastest lap of the race on the last lap, which was lap 11, which is amazing. He's looking down the inside. This is a carbon copy. Collard knows he's beaten. Collard knows he's beaten and gives in. That's good driving by both of them.
Yeah, there was nothing really he could do. That Chevy is just able to turn in, carry so much speed into Brooklands. It's a fantastic car, they've got it well sorted, and Jackson looks as though he's going to make it 2 out of 3 here today with a very controlled pass on Rob Collard.
Yeah, and that's to follow up on 3 podiums from Knock Hill, so at the moment Matt Jackson really is on a charge. Jelly's flashing his lights at Giovanardi to put him on.
Well, I can't imagine that's going to do a lot, but I tell you what, Jelly's driving for the team here, and what he needs to do from his point of view is try and pass Giovanardi, and he's trying to do everything he can to unsettle the Italian, the double champion. Meanwhile, Turkington is trying to fend off that Vauxhall, hold his position, and Giovanardi's going to try and cut back on him here. Great stuff.
But I tell you what, Giovanardi's going to try very hard in his next 2 corners, because he doesn't want Jelly getting involved and doing something reckless here. So he's going to think, right, these two are ganging up on me. Look how he's got to defend. That Vauxhall is so slow on the straight this weekend. Why is that?
I don't know, but he really had to work hard to keep him behind there. So back with Turkington. Oh, Giovanardi having a little look. Turkington using the grass. He knows how to cover Giovanardi's line there.
Yeah, he's got to keep him tight. He's got to keep him tight there. If he opens even half a car door, he'll Giovanardi be up the inside and on the grass. Look how they're cutting across the access road there. Now the posts have gone, they're just shortcutting the track anywhere they can.
And Stephen Jelly's right with these two. Stephen Jelly's having a little look, but he's not quite there to attack. What a good run through Cox for Giovanardi. Got a good bit of momentum here, but can he sustain it? Not really. Again, just the Vauxhalls just seem to be struggling for outright straight line speed. He's got a little chance to look up the inside here. Oh, again. I tell you what, there's real respect being shown between these two, because Giovanardi's had a couple of chances to just stick his nose in.
Yeah, Turkington's driving some nice tidy lines, and Giovanardi's getting as close as he can, but you know, he is respecting his championship rival, and that's great to see. Oh, Jelly's alongside. That was contact, and Jelly's done it. That's the job that West Surrey want him to do, and Giovanardi, watch him fight back.
Oh, Stephen Jelly really doing the job for the team here, has found a way past. Oh, and Jelly's gone wide there, very wide. He just about gets it back on the tarmac. My goodness, I thought he'd run too wide.
Yeah, but is he going to have to defend into Cox? This could let Turkington get away if he does, and Johnny Adam regrouping as well.
Yes, that's right. So Stephen Jelly doing the mighty job for Team RAC here, has got past Giovanardi, and now he's going to try and stay there. Just to remind you, Turkington's in 3rd, Jelly now in 4th, Giovanardi's in 5th, Adam 6th, Plato 7th. Oh, and he's having a little look at that, but no way through on the entrance to Beckett. Nash in 8th, O'Neill is 9th, Pinkney is currently 10th, Volkard just outside the top 10 and 11th.
Yeah, that's Giovanardi taking his very tight line, but you can see he lost out enormously on the outside. And I'll tell you what, if Adam's got a run at him, he could go all the way around the outside.
Giovanardi having a little look, and again he's struggling there a little bit, isn't he? Because he's got Johnny Adam right with him that time.
Well, this is the nature of touring cars, attacking and defending at the same time. And very tight in there, getting a good exit, but Johnny Adam is going to look for a gap anywhere he can. But Stephen Jelly rising to the occasion. This is the job that they brought Anthony Reid in to do, and although Anthony's had to carry 45 kilos in all 3 races this weekend as an extra entry, certainly Jelly has risen to the task of supporting his teammate.
No, it's superb stuff, and remember Vauxhall have certainly worked hard as a team. Matt Neal allowing Giovanardi through the last race at Knockhill to gain a few more points. So the teams have to work as a team, and that's what they're doing. Looking back from Giovanardi here at Johnny Adam, he's still sitting in 6th place. Plato in 7th position, then Nash, then Pinkney, and then O'Neill. But fantastic dicing, and for those few laps where we had Giovanardi and Turkington going so close to one another, well, the whole championship could have changed there, couldn't it?
Yeah, and I'm sure it won't be the last time either. We've still got 6 more races after this to go.
That's right, we've still got a few laps to go in this race. Remember that Matt Jackson is leading the race for Chevy at the moment. Chevy Lassetti about a second ahead of Rob Collard in the BMW. Then Turkington holding on to 3rd position. Stephen Jelly now in 4th place, on board with Giovanardi. Just dropping back a little bit there in 5th, with Johnny Adam right behind him. Then it's Plato and Nash. A little bit of damage on the front end of Johnny Adam's car, flapping about in the wind.
No, it's just a little cowling piece round the grille. Won't be any problem at all to Johnny Adam. Probably not even a distraction, because we can't see it.
Turkington must be so relieved to see the orange colours of his teammate right behind him now. That's a much more comfortable feeling than seeing that car filling every single mirror on the car, and he really was. Meanwhile, the leaders are still close. Look at this. Collard has not dropped away from Jackson, has he?
No, surprisingly, on the last lap, Collard actually was 4/10 quicker. Now, I don't know if that was a mistake or not, but here we go. Dave Pinkney. Oh, he's been passed.
Yeah, by Paul O'Neill. And Matt Neal's car looks a bit damaged, doesn't it? That was early on, I think. And Matt running in 12th place. He's had a pretty poor weekend by his standards.
He has a frustrating weekend all round, and there'll be some head scratching going on after this weekend with Triple Eight.
Absolutely. So Nash comes through. He's still doing a good job here, having moved up from further down the order, but he's in 8th place in the second of those 2 Chevys. Plato hasn't really been able to do anything in this race.
No, perhaps not surprisingly, really, with the 45 kilos on. But don't forget, he's not far behind this battle. We're from 4th all the way down to 7th, so it's very close between them.
Yeah, it is very close. Giovanardi hopping over the curb again there, but not getting any closer for the moment. In fact, Nash may well have a go at getting past Plato here. Nash not carrying any weight at all, of course. And Plato not having been able to make much progress. Is he going to fight for that place, or is he going to let Nash through? I don't think he's going to let him through. He's going to fight for it, that's for sure. And Plato just about staying in front of him.
Yeah, it's Jason Plato. Of course he's going to fight for the position. He wants every point that he can get, and he's sort of saying to James Nash, you might be the young guy, but if you're going to pass me, you're going to have to sort of be a bit bullish, and I don't think you want to do that. Oh, Collard's put his lights on, and Collard says his fastest lap on that last lap. This really is remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, he's suddenly found another sort of burst of pace in the latter stages.
It's what we always say about Rob. You give him a sniff of a victory, and there's a really fast driver in there, inside there. He can sometimes get disillusioned, but on his day and given a sniff of victory, Rob is as good as any driver out there.
And he's challenging for this lead again. He wants to take the win here. And then Matt Jackson, who caught him quickly.
It's coming.
Is he going to go for it? Is he going to look down the inside? Not this time, not this time.
Well, I really thought he was, because he was close and Jackson wasn't defending. I thought Collard would see that as his opportunity, but maybe he's learned a little bit of patience. Or is he going to try and duck underneath? Jackson's a wily campaigner. He didn't win the Seat Cupra Championship by not knowing how to race close.
No, that's right, but Collard is fired up. He wants a victory here today as well. Jackson's already had one, and Collard wants to try and take a victory himself. We go on to lap 20 of 22, so 3 laps, including this one, to go. Still, these two dominating things well ahead of the 2 Team RAC cars of Turkington and Stephen Jelly. And Jackson had a good run through Copse there, so Collard not quite as close, but he's not far behind, lights ablaze, and he's still trying to rattle Matt Jackson if possible.
Yeah, it's a great battle. Jackson's still driving very, very tidily, though. And I'm not sure where the best opportunity is going to be. Turkington in a safe 3rd with his teammate behind. Nice position to be in. Giovanardi, I think, has really extracted more than that car was capable of delivering this weekend, and probably won't be too disappointed, bearing in mind where they started this weekend on the timesheets.
look how close Collard is once again as they come down towards Luffield. Oh, almost a touch, both of them almost on the dirt, just kicking up a bit of dirt on the inside. But again, Jackson holds sway, takes control, and there's not much to choose between them. Around they come, and this time then onto lap 21 of 22, 2 laps remaining. Still Turkington holding on to third position. Jelly is in fourth, the two of them in team formation. Giovanardi is in fifth place, then Johnny Adam in sixth. Plato still ahead of James Nash, but I gather that they had a bit of a clash on that last lap. Nash really going for it, trying to pass him.
Yeah, it's reminiscent, isn't it, of when they were at Seat and Rob Huff came along and started rattling Jason's cage by being a bit too quick for Jason's liking.
Yeah, that's right, good point. Look at Jackson, he's just managed to open a car length or so over Collard in this battle for the lead. They're going to go onto their final lap next time around this short 1.64 Silverstone National Circuit. Not a complicated track, but it takes a lot to get it just right. Matt Jackson seems to be doing the job perfectly at the moment, and he's got another lap on which to try and hold on here.
Yeah, he's certainly seemed to have just controlled that gap. There's been no easy one. Well, this is Plato and Nash coming through Brooklands. Oh, wow, that could have been so close to disaster for Plato.
Well, that was last time around. Here we are back with the two leaders again, and it still looks as though it is going to be Jackson, but I'll tell you what, Collard is going to throw everything at this final lap. Can he find a space? Can he find an opportunity to squeeze that BMW past the Chevrolet? Jackson holds it nice and tight into Beckett's, holds the apex. Collard behind him, breathing down his neck, bouncing it over the edge of the track in his attempts to get past. Collard wanting this win more than anything, but can he find a way of doing it? Moving to the outside, moving to the outside. Will he go for the lunge into Brooklands? No, he doesn't. Jackson still controls the line here. Collard's running out of time. Checker flag awaits these guys. What's going to happen? Final turn. Jackson's a touch wide. Collard can't take advantage of it. Great racing here, but it is Jackson surely who's going to come through to take his second win of the day. Matt Jackson wins it. It's Chevrolet take all 3 victories here at Silverstone. Jackson wins 2 of them. Collard brilliant in second. Third place is going to go to championship leader Turkington. His teammate Jelly doing one of the best drives of his season to pass Giovanardi. Giovanardi finishing 5th in the end, ahead of Adam, Plato, Nash, O'Neill in 9th, Pinkney in 10th, then Volkard, Reed, Matt Neal, Tom Onslow, Cole, and the rest of them. But a really tremendous drive by Matt Jackson.
Yeah, classy drive, 3 podiums to go with his 3 podiums from Knockhill, and what a season he could have had if he'd been in all year. And now he's got to grips with this front-wheel drive car. He's really showing his class. And good drive by Turkington, backed up by his teammate, and Giovanardi, I think, has excelled this weekend as well.
Yeah, superb drives by a number of guys, but Matt Jackson, who was a star here last year. Jason, look at this, Plato on board with Jason, and I'm sure he's chatting away to his team, and I don't think he's very happy, and I think it's because of the battle that was going on with teammate James Nash. Yeah, the two of them were absolutely hammer and tongs here, but more contact there. So a couple of touches. I think there might have been another contact at Luffield.
Yeah, this is a repeat of the other. Yeah. Look at that. That was a real solid thump in the back, wasn't it? That's a repeat of what was happening before, and perhaps Plato has every reason to be upset with that.
Yeah, that does seem a bit strange, but no doubt the team will have to sort that out between them at the end of the day. But it's been a great day for Matt Jackson, no denying that. The result of the third race, Matt Jackson making it 2 out of 3, and Racing Silverline making it 3 out of 3 here today. Collard second, Turkington third, and of course, importantly, his teammate finished ahead of his big championship rival Giovanardi. Adam in 6th, Plato just about in 7th from James Nash, with O'Neill in 9th and Pinkney 10th. Outside the points, Volkard and Reed, Matt Neal and Tom Onslow, Cole, Andrew Jordan and Martin Johnson. Most of the guys making it to the finish though, John George, Martin Bell, Johnny Herbert was a bit out of luck, and Tom Chilton, of course, in that earlier clash. And this is what it's done in terms of the standings. Look at that, Turkington still in front. Now it's 11 points over Fabrizio Giovanardi. It's just seesawing at the moment, that gap between them. Still ever so close. Jason Plato hoped to close it up a bit more than that, but look at Jackson. He's leapt up the standings, courtesy of 3 more podiums here today. He's into 5th overall. Collard there in 6th place. Of course, Thompson no longer in the series, gradually dropping back down. with Stephen Jelly. Some useful points for Team RAC, particularly in race 3. So let's get down to the pits with Louise.
Matt, take that helmet off and have a chat to me. What a weekend it has been for this guy. 6 podiums in a row, two victories here at Silverstone. And what a race that was. Matt, what a weekend and what a race.
Fantastic. Awesome result. It's great for racing Silverline, auto, windscreens, everybody who's involved, you know. Matchthedeal.com, what a result. It's, you know, we came here this weekend, we knew the car would be strong. We've got to capitalise on it. Race 2 didn't go our way, but I think we made up for it in race 3.
I mean, it's the second really strong weekend that you've had. You must be ruining so much the bad luck that you had earlier in the season.
It's one of those, isn't it? You know, it's yeah, it's frustrating, but you know, moments like this really put those to rest, really. And what a result! You know, it's fantastic for everybody. And 6 podiums in 6. That's not a bad result.
Rob certainly made you work for it, didn't he?
Yeah, well, I think I shot myself in the foot really because we got clear, and the last thing I wanted was a safety car, so I backed it off a little bit, and then I thought, actually, Rob's coming pretty quick, so it was a bit of a rethink. And yeah, towards the end, Rob was certainly giving us some hassle.
Let's see if we can find Rob. Rob, drag him out from amongst the team. When you finish kissing people, come and have a word with me. I mean, that smile on your face, that says it all, really.
Yeah, that was a great result for Airways BMW. You know, we've had a very up and down sort of last 2 or 3 meetings, and to give this to the team, it's such a present, you know. Matt's a hard guy. He had me mid-race and I was getting him at the end, but another couple of laps maybe, but you know, we've kicked up a gear this weekend. Airwaves is back where we should be, and big thank you to the team for repairing my car after Knockhill and Snetterton.
You so wanted that victory there, didn't you?
I wanted it really bad, you know, and I knew Matt was coming. The Chevys are really the car to have at the moment. We just have got no answer for them in a straight line, but the BMW, as it proved towards the end of the race, we were coming back very strong, and another couple of laps maybe and we'd have had him, but hey-ho.
Next time.
Next time.
Next time. 3rd place finisher Colin Turkington. Bit of a relief, that result?
Yeah, delighted. You know, Fabrizio was putting me under big pressure, and you know, I made a slight break on him, and then you know, I saw Stephen go past and then Fabrizio drop off, so yeah, that was great news. So I'm really delighted to for the lads at RAC. It was a big effort today.
Just tell us about the battles with Fabrizio.
Yeah, it was he was very quick in the middle of the race, and quicker than me in the last sector, but I knew if I got the car on the inside I could defend, because he made a lot of passing manoeuvres there today, so I did a lot of looking in my mirrors in that race.
And how pleased were you when you finally saw your teammate Stephen Jelly in those mirrors rather than Fabrizio?
Yeah, it's a big relief. You know, Stephen was flying in that race, so it's great to have him as a buffer and keep this man away.
Just tell us a bit about the battle that's going on between the two of you in this championship. You seem to be both enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. You know, this is the first time that I've ever really fought for well, the British Touring Car Championship anyhow, and you know, the competition is pretty stiff. So you know, I'm glad that I'm able to give him a run for it anyhow. You're
certainly giving him a run for it, but you don't give up either, do you?
Oh, yeah, today was really hard for me. I was close to make a good fight with him, but his teammate, he came in middle, and after that there wasn't nothing to do because I had a big drop off in tyres, so it's all right. It's a good score anyway, as I say after qualifying.
I would say a very good result, really. I mean, you kind of drove beyond the limits of your car in that race, didn't you?
Yeah, I can tell you that I can make any better. I make the maximum effort. You can see my face. But you know, it's not finished. Race to go. He's not far. I can do it.
And looking forward to Rockingham?
Obviously, and for you.
How do you think it's going to go for you there?
Difficult to say. I think we have to work really hard on the car because again, it's a fast circuit with more corners. I can say that my car is much stronger than the BMW in the corners, a little bit less in the straight line, but we can balance. It could be a great battle.
Okay, we'll see you there. And before we go, let's just grab a quick word with Stephen Jelly. Stephen, doing exactly what the team wants you to be doing, getting yourself in between Giovinazzi and your teammate.
That's it, yeah. It's obviously starting from a bit further back, and could see Colin bits flying off the cars and all sorts of stuff, and just sort of got my head down and gave it everything to try and get in there. And I don't know whether he was struggling. I think he had a bit of a car problem, but you know, I managed to get in there in front of Gio, and I don't think anyone would have stopped me. So yeah, great race.
Well done. Back to you, Steve.
Yes, a fantastic day's racing here at Silverstone. Just leaves us with enough time to remind you that there's some big international football coming up on ITV over the course of the next few days. Next Saturday, Fabio Capello has one last chance to fine-tune his England side against Slovenia before that World Cup qualifier against Croatia the following Wednesday. 3 points in that one, and England can complete their planning for the World Cup final. Next motorsport for you here on Tuesday night as Louise brings you Motorsport UK. And we're back with rounds 25, 26 and 27 of the British Touring Cars in 3 weeks' time. That's Sunday the 20th of September from Rockingham. 6 races to go. Turkington and Giovanardi are on amazing form. We don't know who's going to win the title, but we do know that the title is going to be won in fighting style. Goodbye from us all.